They say every human being shares two fears, the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. I think they missed a third, the fear of the final page. We all live with a strange, unspoken contract. We know our story will end, but we are blessed with the ignorance of when. The final chapter is blank. This uncertainty, this beautiful, terrifying, maybe tomorrow, maybe in 50 years, is the very air we breathe. It allows us to plan for a future we might not have, to love without a countdown timer, to build things that will outlast us. But what if that contract was broken? What if, one morning, you receive a small, plain box? No return address. Inside, there's no explanation, no apology, just a single, neatly printed card. On it, a date. Not a birthday, not an anniversary. It's a date 18 years, 4 months, and 9 days from now. Instinctively, you know what it is. This isn't a prophecy. It's an appointment. This is the date of your last day. The initial shock fades, and a question begins to burn. Quietly at first, then with a deafening intensity. Does this knowledge set you free? Or have you just been placed in the most elegant prison ever constructed? I want to tell you about a man we'll call Arthur. Arthur wasn't a philosopher or a hero. He was an accountant. For 15 years, his life was a symphony of spreadsheets and quiet lunches. He wasn't unhappy. He was simply dormant. He had a someday list. Someday he'd learn Italian. Someday he'd see the aurora borealis. Someday he'd tell his father he was proud of him. Someday was a safe, distant island. Then the box arrived. His date was set for 2 years from that day. For the first 3 months, Arthur lived the life we all think we would. He quit his job. He emptied his savings. He chased the northern lights in Iceland, learned to tango in Buenos Aires, ate street food in Bangkok. He was ticking off the list. He was finally living. But a strange thing happened around month 4. The joy felt hollow, performative. Each beautiful sunset came with a mental calculation. This is one of my last 700 sunsets. Each new friendship was tainted with the unspoken truth that it had an expiration date known only to him. The northern lights were beautiful, yes, but their ethereal dance was just a reminder of his own very concrete, very final deadline. He realized the problem. He had traded a life of quiet hope for a frantic race against a clock. He wasn't experiencing these moments, he was consuming them, desperately trying to extract a lifetime of meaning in a few hundred days. The turning point came one Tuesday morning. He was sitting by a river when he saw an old man patiently teaching his granddaughter how to skip stones. The pure, unburdened joy of that simple moment, the shared belief in an infinite number of future Tuesdays to practice, hit Arthur like a physical blow. He wasn't mourning the grand adventures he would miss. He was mourning the loss of ordinary, boring, beautiful Tuesdays. He was mourning the loss of someday. Arthur's story isn't just a story. It's a thought experiment that philosophers and psychologists have wrestled with for centuries. Let's break this down. From a Western philosophical view, this touches on Martin Heidegger's concept of being towards death. Heidegger argued that an authentic life is only possible when we confront our own mortality. But he meant confronting the idea of death, the eventuality of it. He never spoke of confronting a calendar appointment. Arthur's knowledge removed the philosophical weight and replaced it with logistical dread. It wasn't an awakening. It was a glorified project management problem. The Stoics like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius would tell us memento mori, meaning remember you will die. They used this thought to clarify their priorities, to live virtuously in the present. But again, there's a crucial difference between remembering you will die and knowing when. The Stoic practice is a mental tool for focus. Arthur's knowledge is an external fact that paralyzes the present. Every action is judged against the ultimate scarcity, making nothing feel valuable enough. Psychologically, this plunges us into terror management theory. This theory suggests that much of human culture, religion, legacy, national identity is an elaborate defense mechanism against the terror of our own mortality. Arthur's precise knowledge shatters this buffer. The defense is gone. He is left exposed to the raw, unfiltered terror, and all the symbolic projects of life, career, family, art, suddenly feel like futile games to distract from the inevitable. What was once a source of meaning becomes meaningless. And finally, there's the neuroscience. Our brains are wired for hope, for anticipation. The dopamine system rewards us not just for achieving goals, but for the pursuit of them. When the ultimate finish line is known, what happens to the motivation for long-term goals? The pursuit of a cure for a disease, the slow cultivation of a garden, the raising of a child, all these acts are fundamentally acts of faith in an unknown future. Arthur's knowledge didn't give him clarity, it robbed him of faith. So far, we've assumed the central problem is about time, how to spend it, how to find meaning in it. We've focused on Arthur's internal struggle, but perhaps we've been looking in the wrong place entirely. Maybe the real tragedy of knowing your final day isn't what it does to you, it's what it does to your relationships with others. The moment you receive that date, you become a different species. You are exiled from the shared human experience. How can you genuinely celebrate a friend's new 30-year mortgage? How can you listen to your partner's dreams of retiring together in a cozy cottage by the sea? Every conversation becomes layered with a secret you can't share. You think authenticity is brave? Try being authentic in this situation. That's a wonderful dream, honey, but I'll be dead 12 years before we can afford it. It's impossible. So you lie or you omit. You live behind a veil of gentle deception. The knowledge creates an unbridgeable chasm of loneliness. You are surrounded by people, yet you are utterly alone in your timeline. You are a tourist from a dying future, visiting their present. They live in the world of someday. You live in the world of no more days after this one. The ultimate curse isn't losing your future, it's losing your ability to truly share a present with anyone else. And so, we return to the small, plain box on the table. We treat our ignorance of the future as a flaw, a problem to be solved with better science, better predictions, better planning. We crave certainty. But maybe Arthur's story teaches us the opposite. Maybe the blank page isn't a flaw. Maybe it's the entire point. The uncertainty is the space where hope grows. The not knowing is what allows two people to look at each other and build a life on the fragile, beautiful, unspoken promise of, we'll figure it out together. Perhaps the most profound gift we are given is the one we spend our lives trying to get rid of, the mystery. So the real question isn't, what would you do if you knew your final day? But what are you doing with the beautiful, terrifying gift of not knowing? This question isn't easy, and I don't have an answer, only more questions. My question for you is this. What is one small, seemingly insignificant thing you did today that was only possible because you didn't have a countdown timer running in your head? A long conversation with your mother? Doodling in a notebook? Planning a trip for next summer? Write it in the comments. I'd love to read about the small beauties born from our shared uncertainty. Let's create a collection of them together.